Welcome into Zions Bank Stadium here in Harriman, Utah, the new home of Real Monarchs SLC. I'm Trey Fitzgerald alongside Chad Barrett. And Chad, 4 games in 12 days here for Mark Briggs' team. A win tonight against Fresno. They rack up 10 points in those 4 games. And the season for Mark Briggs and company picking up right where it left off.
I mean, they really picked up some momentum on this homestand. This is exactly what you want when you get 4 games, 3 games in a row, even if they are tightly knit as they are. It's been a great response, especially after that Lights FC game where they were up 10 men or up 1 man for 70 minutes of the game and they didn't score goals. Juan Mayer scores a great goal against OCFC. Then they come back and they just put a whooping on Swope Park Rangers. And so we're expecting more of that against a Fresno team who is just been kissing their sister all year. Just 6 ties on the road. Goal differential is 0. No real person that's actually standing out for him. It could be a game where the depth is tested for the Real Monarchs, but at the same time, it's going to be something that you can't sleep on. You got to take care of business. You got to take home 3 points.
Fresno led by Frank Yallop at the top of the competitive side of their organization. Just 10 games into their existence. Chad, you and I have been around a lot of soccer leagues a long time. You know how hard it is to get out of the gates. You mentioned the 6 ties. What do you think Fresno is searching for in this first year?
Looking for somebody to take the reins, much like Chandler Hoffman did last year, and much like Michael Chang is doing this year. You can even throw Kalen Ryden into that whole scenario as well. You know, they just seem to get goals from everywhere, and that just hasn't been the case for Fresno. Fresno's a new team. This is the first ever meeting between the Monarchs and Fresno FC. They don't really know what to get. Frank Yallop is a great coach. He had a great MLS career. You know, he is working hard to try and find a system, a discipline that this team will follow. But it just doesn't seem like they've figured it out yet.
And now as the Real Monarchs get ready to capture those points, we talked about a 4-1 win Wednesday night here against Swope Park Rangers. There you saw the early goal from Carlton Belmar. And then here is Sebastian Velasquez, the straw that stirs the Monarchs drink.
That goal actually got switched over to Kalen Ryden. I mean, you don't really see it. You see it gets a flick off to somebody, but he just takes it off the top of the head. And as a defender does, he doesn't claim it. As a forward, I would claim that all day. But, you know, Sebastian does a great job to get in here, just pokes it. And sometimes that's all you need, just be in the right place at the right time and a little flick home.
Yeah, Kalen Ryden has 8 shots on goal this year, 4 goals, 2 against Portland and 2 right here in this game. Here you see the back post header.
Yeah, and there was absolutely no question about whose goal this was. This was a great ball in by Portillo at the back post. Kalen Ryden does a great job to shake his defender, rises up, and with most defenders, you send that over the bar because they're so used to doing it. He heads down, powerful header right next to the keeper's feet and gives him no chance. The keeper's already in the goal by the time the ball's in the back of the net.
We will not see Justin Portillo in the starting lineup tonight. We'll talk more about him later. But again, a 2-goal performance here for Kalen Ryden. There's his second, or that's Juan Marais, sorry, right before the end of the half.
And Juan Marais worked so hard for his goal against OCSC to create that chance to create that win. And this was a gift where you're just in the right space at the right time. Hurd had been playing a lot of crosses to the back post. He plays one. It all starts with Aaron Herrera, who picks it up, plays it out to Hurd, continues his run, and just finds that near post run. Great flick to Juan Marais, who just bumps it in.
And then there's the 4th and final goal for the Monarchs against Swope. It was credited as an own goal, but you've got a little bit of pressure from the academy kid, Richie Ledesma, on that play.
Absolutely.
Here's the Fresno lineup for you, Chad.
Fresno lineup's going to come out in a 4-3-3 with Fabo and Daly up in the back. They have Bustamante, who they've kind of didn't start last game, came in as a sub. We'll see what he can do. Maybe they're trying to see who they can kind of get after. Jamal Johnson has 4 goals on the season. He's their main threat guy coming out of the midfield. You're going to have to watch for late runs and at the top of the box, but he's a very dangerous player going forward. Ron Argueta, very good left foot getting up that side. They're going to kind of kept it one side against OCSC and against Lights FC. We'll see if they do the same thing. The Monarchs are going to be coming out in their typical 4-2-3-1. Same thing as the RSL and Mike Pecky play. You're going to have a couple people coming in. Charlie Adams coming off the suspension. Jose Hernandez getting his first start, starting to play really well and has earned his spot. But nobody has earned their spot more than Juan Mayer has. 2 goals in his last 2 games. 4-1, that win that they needed here at home. He gets to start over Chandler Hoffman. He's in form. He's being rewarded. And then you have Jacob Leaker, who came over from Memphis. It's going to be his first professional ever start, taking over from the Connor Sparrow, who'll be backing up Nick Romano today for RSL. Excited to see what he brings.
Yeah, great lineup there, and you see kind of the embarrassment of riches that Mark Briggs has. You've got 2 USA under 20 stars from last summer, Danny Acosta on the left, Aaron Herrera on the right, and then Josh Hurd getting the start as Justin Portillo, who's been quite the playmaker on the wing this year, just getting some much-needed rest. The last Monarchs player to have played every minute of every one of the previous 8 games.
Well, they kind of get into a lull. You know, Chandler Hoffman, he got into a little bit of a slump searching for that 50th goal. And so sometimes you just need to take a seat and have somebody else come out. Luckily, Juan Mer came in to get a great job. He's finishing off the chances that Chandler Hoffman was getting. You have Sebastian Velasquez, who is the maestro. He's the most important player on this team. He's going to be pulling the strings all over the field. He loves playing. He loves competing. He loves this atmosphere. 4 games in 12 days is nothing for him. He played 4 games in 4 days if he could.
Right.
But it's definitely going to be the shortest lineup you've ever seen in the midfield, but probably the most skillful and solid lineup. These 3 players link up so well, and I just look for them to control the pace of this game throughout.
The Real Monarchs, they're, as we talked about, their 4th game here in Harriman, about 15 minutes, 20 minutes or so from Rio Tinto Stadium, really trying to take advantage of the altitude, the energy, the turf, the atmosphere, all those little things that they can do to give the reigning USL Coach of the Year, Mark Briggs, you see there, a definitive fortress-like feel here in suburban Salt Lake City.
And the fortress feeling has really continued over from that home that they were playing at 15, 20 miles away at Rio Tinto Stadium last year, where they were unbeaten at home, only took the loss to Sacramento in PKs at the end of the season, but that's not really a loss in regular time. And then they continue this year. They had 1 game at Rio Tinto Stadium, and they've been here at Zion Bank Stadium ever since then, and it started off a little rocky. They had some where they thought they might break that streak, but since then, they were still unbeaten in the regular season from the start of 2017.
We are close to kickoff. Our officials flipping the sides, making the teams trade halves, and looks like Sebastian Velasquez will take the first touch of the game as we're off here in USL 2018 regular season action. Real Monarchs hosting Fresno FC, the expansion side.
And we go from watching 2 games in 80-degree weather and sweating and everything to this weekend where it's 57 and half the players have gloves on. So it's quite a weather difference. The field's going to be wet throughout, not like what it was like when it was 80 degrees and people were really picking up. The ball was sticking. People were tripping. It's going to be a really fast game. Balls in behind won't be that dangerous.
Yeah, raining for the better part of the last 36 hours here in the Salt Lake Valley. But who knows, Chad, that might help this new turf here at Zions Bank Stadium kind of settle and gain its feel. I know the guys have complained about a little bit of stickiness in the early going. Almost a good opportunity there for the Monarchs, but a little miscommunication there on that right wing.
The one thing that the Monarchs do so well, in my opinion, is that as soon as the ball turns over, there's a real conscious effort to win that ball back for 5 seconds and not let the other team out of that half, not to let them get any kind of free-flowing passing going, any confidence, any rhythm. And I think they do a great job, and that comes from Mark Briggs, who is from England, and that's the way you defend over there.
Right. Briggs taking over 1 game into last year's campaign as Mike Pecky was promoted to Real Salt Lake's head coach just a few games into the MLS campaign. Here come the Monarchs down the left wing. No whistle, and it's going to be a corner here for the Monarchs. Is that Josh Hurd getting showing some speed?
That's something that Briggs, I imagine, really likes in Josh Hurd, is his ability, his English type. He's an English type winger. He really likes to get to the byline, get crosses in. You can always count on him. You can kind of foresee when his cross is going to come in. Yeah. He's got a great change of pace and great speed up that left side. And then you got Michael Chang on the other side causing just as many problems. So it's going to be a handful for the Fresno defense.
Charlie Adams take the corner here for the Monarchs. Pings it, looking for Sebastian. Instead, it's cleared, and it'll be another corner here for Charlie, who, as you mentioned in the open, Chad, got a little night off on Wednesday after a couple yellow cards last Friday night in the Monarchs' victory.
It wouldn't be a Monarchs season without a Charlie Adams red card, though, would it?
Decides to go to the spot. Squirts through everybody. Tracked down by Velasquez. He'll do what he does and just skin people in the box. Plays it out to Jose Hernandez, another RSL Academy product. Jose's cross muffed there, but it's out for the third corner in the first 3 minutes here for Salt Lake City.
And like you said, he just skins people up. He's so good at that close cut. He gets the ball so close to him that it's hard to get the ball from him. And if you try and get the ball from him, a lot of times you end up fouling him. But as soon as Jose gets that ball, you can see he could have crossed it in, but he wants to play with Sebastian Velasquez on all over the field, not just in the middle.
Charlie, left-footed offering near post. Knocked away. Jose challenging near the far touchline. Monarchs trying to keep Fresno in, and it looks like the Foxes counter coming. Eventually squelched there by Herrera momentarily. Here's Jerem Johnson. Out wide to Cooper, and his offering sails harmlessly. It'll be a goal kick. Today's officials, Sergey Domainchuk running the middle right there. Karsten Gilwald, Casey Harward, and Brad Jensen assisting. Jensen, the fourth official. Settled by Velasquez at midfield. Plays to Hernandez. Hernandez dispossessed quickly there by Cazares. He tries to go in alone on Leaker.
Jose getting his feet underneath him right here. Hasn't started a game, only comes as a sub. You can't make those mistakes right there. Gets his pocket picked. Really should have done better with it.
Yep.
Great closing down there by Kalen Ryden and Gallagher to help make up for the mistake that Jose Hernandez just cost right there.
Here's Chang coming in from the wing. Plays inside. Hernandez's shot snuffed away.
Quickly trying to make up for his mistake right there.
Yeah.
Goal definitely would have done it.
Here's Jose. Couple nice little back heels, but maybe a little too much.
Sometimes you want the play to be too pretty, you know. Sebastian Velasquez, he can go with all the flair he wants. Juan Mayer has shown flair in practice. He's shown flair in some games, but he hasn't really shown the skill that would make you believe that he's going to pull that one off all the time. It would have been very pretty had it been pulled off.
Ryden and Gallagher trying to use Adams there as the release valve. Galley, Adams dispossessed again in the midfield. Fresno has numbers. There's the shot, save, easy save for Leaker off of the shot by Bustamante.
That'll break Leaker into the game very nicely. His first save right at him, just kind of get some confidence. Make sure you corral your first shot save. It was a very weak attempt at a goal, but again, Charlie Adams pocket picked and it causes another mistake, and it causes another kind of stress for the defense, and they really need to sew that up in the midfield. They're too good of players to be losing the ball this freely and this easily.
Ryden plays back to Leaker. Danny Acosta on the far left side got his first few touches. A guy who, again, had a good year last year with the U.S. under-20s, both qualifying in the FIFA tournament. 7 or 8 starts there with RSL late in the season as well.
That's what people want. People want to see Danny Acosta back with RSL. They want to see him on Saturday. They want to see him tonight at 7 o'clock. For whatever reasons, you know, he just hasn't been able to break into that lineup. And, you know, this is his chance to prove himself and to put himself back in Mike Pecky's side of vision.
Hernandez settles. Back to Ryden. Hernandez, another one of the 10 homegrown players between RSL and the Monarchs coming out of the academy system. Ryden looking long for Velasquez. The ball's there. Velasquez from 22 cuts back. Got Chang with his left-footed bomb, and Monarchs up 1-0. What a goal by Michael Chang.
These are the things that you want to say. I saw Sebastian's run as Kalen Ryden's moving up. No direct pressure there on Kalen Ryden. Sebastian Velasquez just kind of floats into that great run. Great ball by Kalen Ryden. Again to Sebastian Velasquez, who I thought could take maybe a touch forward. Pulls it down. It sticks to his foot. Great runs coming in from Chang and Mayer on the right side. And, of course, Sebastian, with his great vision, finds him wide open. Chang, I thought he was going to tuck it far post, opens up like he's going to go far post, and then brings it right into the right upper V. Keeper gets a touch, but you're not saving this one. A great finish by Chang and a great setup by Sebastian Velasquez.
Yeah, 8th minute goal by Chang.
I don't know how many times you have to see Sebastian Velasquez chop the ball until you know that this is part of his repertoire. Unbelievable ball there by Kalen. Watch it just bring it down, though. So easy. And then is at his mercy. He just moves it to the side, creates that little space. Great ball for Chang. Completely unmarked. Top corner. Like I said, keeper gets the touch to it. 1-0 Monarchs. Great start.
The center back Feiwo knew nothing about that ball out of the deep back line from Ryden. And you see Chang, I think keeper was cheating to his right-hand post a little bit, and he was punished. Nice tackle by Mare to win that, winning the corner for the Monarchs, who kept the pressure up here for 9 straight minutes.
I mean, that was a great effort. That's what you want to see. That's what Briggs wants to see. He wants to see you chasing down lost hopes, because Juan Mare, with his work ethic, has just turned a lost hope into a corner kick where they've been very dangerous on. Kalen Ryden is a big one to go for. Then you also have Gallagher in there. Great headers of the ball, and Chang scored off a corner kick 2 games ago.
There's the corner. Trying to knot it forward is Acosta. Nice ball flashing across the box. Here's Mare. Back to Gallagher. Back to Herrera. Herrera swings it right to Adams.
Showing really good
Plays
patience.
the safe ball. Yeah, patient ball there to Velasquez. And all the way back around. Here's Josh Hurd. Hurd dribbling towards the touchline. Center ball ushered out, and the Monarchs will still have a throw-in here in the attacking third.
Hurd really utilizes his speed, which I really like to see in a player. When you have that kind of speed and that kind of change of pace, and you can get that separation from a defender, there's no need to throw in all these step overs, and that's something that I really like about him.
Acosta with the throw. Velasquez back to Acosta. Another throw in here.
Not a lot to talk about on Fresno's side so far. It's really just been RSL's way pretty much the entire time right now, with a couple of little counterattacks that RSL has done well to recover on, but pretty much one-way traffic here in the first half so far.
Velasquez dispossessed. Slippery ball on some sticky turf. Has seen some possession issues for some of the midfielders on both sides. Chang trying to break it up. Johnson back to Cooper. All the way back to Feiwo. Adams wins it for the Monarchs. Chang trying to decide what to do. Mare, Velasquez. Got Chang on his right, plays him. Chang with a cheeky little ball into the box. Here's Velasquez, lefty shot blocked. Fresno gets it out of trouble and trying to spring that counterattack for the visitors.
You see how Feiwo there did dive in that time. He's learned his lesson. It cost him a goal in the first lesson, but this one he knows that he's not going to be diving on Sebastian. He's going to wait for him to make his move. Feiwo has more than enough pace to keep up Sebastian if he just plays on his defense, but if he lunges in, Sebastian's going to have his way with him all game.
Johnson asking for the ball at his feet from his teammates. He doesn't want to guess where the ball is going to be. Gallagher surveying options.
And without a win since week 4, Fresno, this is not where they want to be. They don't want to be 1-0 down in the first 10 minutes against the top team in the Western Conference and going for the Supporters Shield again at 6-1-1. This would put them rightfully so by themselves, up top by themselves. So really just that's just what they want. But I'm sure Briggs, he would love to see a shutout is what I think he would love to see. It hasn't happened since the last FC game, but when you're up 1 man for 70 minutes, you better not get scored on. Connor Sparrow, though, was playing absolutely terrific over the last 2 games and was my man of the match for the game against OCSC. The whole reason why
8 saves.
8 saves, but 8 unbelievable saves. They were really good chances.
High quality. Yep.
This game's starting off different with RSL coming out on their front foot like they normally do in the first 15 minutes of the game. Against Swope Park Rangers last game, it wasn't the same thing. They looked like Swope Park had taken control, and after the game, or after the goal, that's when RSL finally seemed to wake up, and Swope Park kind of fell asleep.
Yeah, they needed that Carlton Belmar goal early to wake them up a little bit. The Monarchs kind of flipping the script, scoring in the 8th minute today after conceding in the 8th minute Wednesday. And Chad, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't give a little shout out to our good friend Landon Southwick, normally sitting here in my chair, but welcoming his new daughter to the world last night, an 8-pound, 11-ounce baby. So, of course, what did the Monarchs do? Score a goal in the 8th minute for little Emma.
Oh, that is actually really good pickup. 8 pounds 11 ounces as a healthy baby, and he's gonna hate it a little bit. He always wears a nice suit out here, and this is the first day that it's actually not, it's actually cold enough to wear a suit and not absolutely sweat your tail off. So congratulations, Landon Southwick. We wish you could be here, but we understand you have much bigger priorities, and we wish you and your wife the very best, and welcome to parenthood.
Yeah, Landon's wife, Sarah, she's the real MVP in this one. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Back to the action. Leaker, Gallagher, Velasquez. Hernandez, back to Galley. Looking for the long ball over the top to Marais. Plays him short instead. Little stumble on the turf, and Marais does well to earn a throw, kicking the ball off of Johnson's shin.
And you can see his movement before the ball. He looked for the running behind, then he checked back. He's moving really well. That comes with fitness, as you get into more. Chandler Hoffman had the run of games early on in the season. Then Mary, over the last 2 games, comes in as a sub, scores a goal. Very high intensity, very doing a lot of things, making a little bit of mistakes. It seems like he's much more comfortable now, getting full 90 minutes in the last game, or it was about 80 minutes in the last game, and now getting rewarded with a start again after putting in a really solid performance against Swope Park.
Chang and Herrera combining here on the right side. Ball inside, recovered by Herrera nicely. Velasquez twisting and turning, as he often does.
Sometimes I think he just does it just to make fun of the other defenders because they know they can't stay with him. He's too quick.
Another long ball over the top, knotted down, falls to Hernandez. Tried to play the nutmeg pass into Hurd, knotted away there nicely by Fewo.
Almost got it back himself somehow.
Here's Johnson for Fresno. Plays it off Chang, and it'll be a Fresno throw. Goalkeeper tonight for Fresno is Kyle Rainish, former RSL man. Played for Atlanta United last year.
Sure, some people remember him from RSL, probably more the people that are going to be at Rio Tinto tonight. But you have nothing to do, and you're watching this at home, and you want to come out. The weather is supposed to be changed. It's supposed to not get any more rain. Get on out here and watch this. Come out here and support your Monarchs.
Chang dispossessed. Fresno's got a good opportunity. The through ball just missing Bustamante. Recovered by Leaker. He'll restart for the Monarchs. Hernandez, Gallagher. Herrera on the near touchline asking for it. Instead, back inside to Hernandez. Flips it wide left to Acosta. Bad touch there by Danny looking for Ryden. Instead, it's a Fresno throw. Deep in the Monarchs' end.
And this is where Fresno needs to stay. They need to try and find a way to get possession or to rally off a few chances in a row. Just put the Monarchs back on their heels and get them believing that this is going to be an actual good game and it's not going to be one-way traffic as it has been thus far.
Herrera and Ribeiro kind of pulling the strings there for Fresno. Ribeiro with a bad pass led to a direct Monarchs opportunity, but no harm, no foul. Rainish, Fewo. Fresno tries to get numbers forward. Long ball deep into the left corner. Herrera's got it under control for the Monarchs.
Just seems to be a real lack of intensity and accuracy and everything that's coming from Fresno right now. It doesn't seem like they've actually showed up at this game yet. Slowly stepping to balls, playing
Velasquez
balls.
Whistled for a foul there, almost inexplicably.
When there's referees, I never think it's inexplicable. I always know there's an explanation. They just don't want to tell you.
Fresno resets here in the 18th minute. Real Monarchs up 1-0 on a scintillating Michael Chang goal. Product of excellent interplay and teamwork by the home side.
Cheng's always going to get those type of opportunities just based on his work rate. As soon as he saw that ball going over the top to Sebastian Velasquez, he just got on his horse, knowing that Sebastian was probably going to keep control of this ball, which he does, and then plays an unbelievable ball to him.
Bustamante off on that opportunity. Herrera inside to Adams. Adams to Ryden.
The exception of Sebastian Velasquez, the Monarchs really just utilize everybody on the field. So many touches for so many players. They love sharing the ball. Very unselfish team.
Johnson trying to play Bustamante through, just a hair off again.
Bustamante having a real hard time figuring out that line. And that's because of either one of two things. It's either a great line that's being played up, or it's just a little bit of laziness on his part trying to beat the trap. He needs to do a better job of just staying 2 yards onside. If you're constantly getting caught off sides, then you have to kind of step forward and make sure it doesn't happen 3 times in a row, because then the coach is going to say something.
Hernandez finds a streaking Acosta, nearly dispossessed. Ball falls to Josh Hurd. Back to Hernandez. He'll recirculate all the way back to Kalen Ryden, the Monarchs' leading goal scorer this year. 4 goals. As we said, 2 on Wednesday night against Swope, 2 on the opener, the home opener against Portland.
Either braces or nothing for Kalen Ryden, apparently.
And I'm sure when Mark Briggs thinks about that type of goal production, it just reminds him of his assistant coach, Jamison Olave, who is one of the highest scoring center backs in MLS.
Do you know how many goals he had?
I know he had several years where he had about 5 or 6 goals a year.
5 or 6?
I'd have to look up the total. He is the all-time MLS leader in red cards with 10.
I wonder if he has more goals. He has to have more. So he actually has more goals.
He definitely has more goals in red cards. The margin may not be as great as I remember.
He was just too big and too wide. It's like trying to guard a semi-truck in the box or trying to get a hold of one.
Biased RSL fans will tell you he was too misunderstood. Hernandez and Velasquez doing well in the midfield.
I think that's just his accent, though.
Acosta on the far left. Back to Hernandez. Little 2-man game. Recycled all the way back to Ryden. Gallagher.
You know, Monarchs really turning this into a more of an offensive drill going forward, with starting in the back, and just that tackle comes out of pure frustration right there, and it's a hard tackle into the back of Charlie Adams there.
Yeah, Adams just gets clattered into from behind here by Barrera. Barrera getting the talking to, but doesn't appear to be a card, and Adams' left leg outstretched. That could have been dangerous on that knee.
Tried to jump in front to try and get that ball. That's why it's so important to play the ball to the foot that the player actually wants it to. Ryden does so, plays it to his right foot. Good turn by Charlie Adams, and just takes a beating for it.
21st minute, Monarchs pressing for more. Chang and Velasquez unable to save the spinning ball from going out of bounds here, but ultimately win possession back. Johnson does well to dispossess Velasquez there at the corner of the box. Here comes Herrera. A little helter-skelter. Herrera's going to get whistled for that foul on Johnson.
One thing I like about Aaron Herrera's game is he's not too quick to get back, which obviously can leave you exposed a little bit. But like we said, on Juan Mayer's goal in the last game, he was the whole reason why that play started, because he was in such an advanced position. He picked off the ball and went away with it. He kind of almost did the same thing there. Couldn't find anybody in front of him, but he's good that he's in these positions. He's an attacking fullback, it seems, and he's very good on the ball, and he's very confident.
Costa with the throw to Adams. Back to Danny. Dribbles inside. Plays wide to Herrera. Velasquez.
Another guy very capable on the ball is Danny Acosta. He's played a few positions for RSL as well. He played defensive mid at one point. He played a little bit of center back, and Now he's playing his natural position in left back, which obviously he flourishes at.
Leaker, again, the goalkeeper for the Monarchs in his first professional start. 20 minutes in, so far so good.
Great ball in there from Gallagher to Sebastian.
Gallagher
touch.
Skipped several lines to find Velasquez there at midfield. Hurd unable to keep it inbounds, but does earn the throw for the Monarchs.
And if I'm Frank Yallop and I see a ball come in where Sebastian Velasquez is taking it down from a line drive from the center back, and there's 20 yards of separation between my defense and my midfield, that's not a good thing, and that's something that needs to be addressed at halftime.
The Monarchs just so good at switching the points of attack with several players who are obviously very, very comfortable with the ball at their feet, comfortable bombing forward as well. And it'll be a 24th minute corner kick here for Charlie Adams.
When you have three midfielders like Jose Hernandez, like Charlie Adams, like Sebastian Velasquez, who are all so comfortable on the ball and love having the ball at their feet, they love sharing it with each other as well because they really have fun, you know, toka-toka between people.
Corner looking near post for Acosta, headed away by Johnson. Hurd collects, Adams redistributes, falls to Velasquez, plays himself.
Great tackle there by Ribeiro. It's great first touch there again from Sebastian Velasquez, just looking to turn. Takes probably a perfect touch that he wanted to, and just reels back and tries to let one fly. Great tackle coming in from Ribeiro, who's probably about twice the size of him, so it's hard for Sebastian to get completely around him.
Leaker resets. Here comes Herrera down the right side, plays Chang. Top of the box extended. He's dribbling into the corner, cuts back left, and dispossessed there by, might have been Mickey Daly.
That was a good double team.
Actually, it was Argueta, excuse me. But the Monarchs retain possession. Here's Adams. Hernandez wondering if he's going to get the ball there. Ryden, far left to Acosta. Hurd, trying to get around. Instead, it's Del Campo.
It could be difficult for Jose Hernandez to see a lot of the ball because a lot of these Monarch players are used to playing with Charlie Adams, or used to playing with Sebastian Velasquez. It's a trust thing, and it's not anything personal. It's just you know that these players are solid on the ball, are going to keep it.
Velasquez dispossessed at midfield, a little bit of casual dribbling, and ultimately Aaron Herrera wins it back for the Monarchs. Velasquez dispossessed once again. Here's Johnson, the playmaker for Fresno, probably their most dangerous player. And his pass is intercepted by Hernandez. Hernandez plays back to Chang. Adams. Very patient Monarch side, especially since they got that lead about 18 minutes ago.
And Fresno just seemed to kind of sit back a little bit too much. They're trying to keep it as low scoring as they can. They know this is a very potent offense, and they don't have a whole lot of offense going forward in terms of goal production. They only have about 13 on the season playing 10 games. So you're not going to win a whole lot of games when you're averaging less than 1.5 goals per game. So you know you're going to have to keep it tight at the back, and that seems what they are trying to do, have more of a counter-attacking mentality going into this game. Even though it's 1-0, they're still sticking to it.
Gallagher extremely advanced for the center back, but Chang and Velasquez carry it forward. Hernandez flipping wide to Acosta. He's got Hurd on the inside, plays back to Hernandez instead. Long ball over the top, looking for Mare. There's a good look at Kyle Rainish off his line to collect easily.
Anybody watching this game, trying to learn the game a little bit more, this is a great little pass, great little ball here. It's a good idea. It's poor execution from Jose Hernandez there. Juan Mer's on the same page as Jose, though. He's just looking to kind of be on that line. He steps off his defender 3 or 4 yards and gets a ball clipped in. If he clips that into the back post, it's very hard for the defender to cover, and it's almost impossible for the keeper to come out and try and grab it. And a lot of times it'll just be him and the keeper, and in a very good spot there for Juan Mer. So look for that to actually be a thing that Jose looks for later on in this game.
Here comes Fresno.
There's just not enough people in attack. They've been defending for so long, they're tired. And then the ball turns over, and it's really just whatever the Monarchs want to do with it. It looks like a hit off the ball, and Hurd winds up on his Bottom's on his tailpipe. He's talking to the linesman, seeing if he saw something.
Nice ball from Chang to keep it alive, looking for Mare. Knocked away by Bradley Candimfewo. There'll be a throw here for the Monarchs. Coach Briggs with some commentary there for the center ref. Herrera to take the throw.
One thing that Mark Briggs, the front office, and the rest of the coaching staff have done a great job is bringing in players here that you can rely on. And the depth has been tested through and through for this 4-game skid. Yes, it's been at home. Away game would be different, but they've just showed so amazingly well. Anybody that's been on the field, substitutes included coming into the games, have just done such a great job of filling in for that position that was just taken. So it doesn't seem like that person's out anymore.
Velasquez had plenty of space forward, chose to cut back left into danger, ultimately finding Acosta. Acosta to Adams. Wide right to Herrera, and Chad, it's pretty clear Fresno just not used to controlling the ball on this turf with so many issues.
And Fresno have been about a 50% possession team, so this seems kind of uncharacteristic. It just kind of goes to show how good the Monarchs are, especially here at Zion Bank Stadium. They just really feel comfortable keeping the ball, and all 11 players on the field can be trusted by each other to keep the ball, and they just love playing.
Herrera, Gallagher, a little two-man game, and Herrera will cut back out wide right to Chang. Chang's got options.
But when they weren't playing well, when their game against Lights FC and OCSC, they weren't good games. And there was barely any movement up top, and that's when they play at their best, is when they start moving. That's what I liked about Hurd a lot. That's what I liked when Brody came in. You know, they just really just showed a real want. Chang has been doing it the entire year, a real want to work, and work will that will make the other team make mistakes.
Well, and that's where that dynamism that you're seeing today has come from. 30th minute, Monarchs up 1-0 on a very nicely taken lefty goal by Michael Chang.
You could have almost brought the goal into the top of the 18, and it wouldn't have changed anything for this game. There still would be no shots on goal from OCSC except for that very first one. That was a weak one right at Jacob Leaker that he just took in really easily. This is his first professional start, and he must feel like it's a practice because he's had almost no work to do.
It's a collision at midfield. Barrera's going to see yellow here, probably for persistent infringement, as Velasquez was taken down for the unofficial 18th time.
I think it was Hernandez that caught the brunt of this tackle, but, you know, he just...
Yeah, you're right.
It's just when you lose a ball, you take too long of a touch, and you come in, you show that stud, you know, that if you catch him, it could be a red. You know, and it wasn't really a kind of a nothing tackle, but those ones are hard to shake off because those rake your ankles, and that'll carry with Jose for the rest of the game. The adrenaline will kick on, but he'll definitely be sore for the next couple of days.
The restart from Ryden to Adams. Thought about flipping it right here to Herrera instead. Back to Ryden.
Expect to see a lot of real short free kicks today. You can tell that they're feeling confident against this Fresno FC team. Playing quick.
Leaker trying to go long to Chang. Sailed on him a little bit. A little bit of wind out here in Harriman, Utah. It'll be a Fresno throw.
Not sure if I've seen Fresno FC combine 5 passes yet.
Right.
That looked like it was in somewhat kind of control. Even Alex Cooper here can't find anybody on the throne. There's no movement. There's no life in this team.
Mare checking back to win that ball. Plays it instead to Cooper.
And what you get with Mare, which I think he's done a lot better with, is he's been a lot better, stronger holding up the ball this year and in the last 2 games than I've seen him before in practices and other games. And he also gives you that height and that advantage in the box, and he's a good header of the ball. So all these crosses and all this great wide play that they have, Josh Hurd and Michael Chang are going to serve some great crosses. And I guarantee Mayer has at least one header that he should be scoring today.
33rd minute, we just did see a nice little sequence there from Fresno ultimately resulting in a Monarchs throw. Mare checking back at the center circle, flipping it wide to Chang. Great ball. Herrera trying to make the overlap run. He's got Velasquez as well. Plays in Seba. Back to Herrera. Herrera's center to the spot, knocked away. Controlled by Velasquez. Back to Herrera. Seba's going to reset. All the way back to Gallagher.
In Fresno, they're just standing. There's no direct pressure on the ball. Yes, you don't want to dive in on Sebastian Velasquez, but you also want to make him do something.
You want to
decide. Make him decide on something. They're making it very easy, and it's a very practice-like situation where you almost look like you're passing around cones.
Here's Velasquez again at the top of the center circle, riding. Coast on the left, plays inside to Mare. He tries to go out to Josh Hurd. Not sure that ball stayed in. It'll be a Fresno throw going the other way. And you want to know my favorite Josh Hurd fun fact is his bio. They asked him what would he be if he wasn't a professional soccer player. He said he'd be Ed Sheeran's body double.
Ed Sheeran's body double.
Yeah, so it's ambitious for Mr. Hurd.
That's what they used to call me. That started in Chicago because me and Wayne Rooney were about as ugly as each other. And so we both had this red thing. There's a side-by-side thing on the internet, and we look like twins.
We should actually have you throw on a Rooney jersey and come to Rio Tinto Stadium tonight for DC United.
They called me the poor man's Wayne Rooney. I was like, I'll take it.
Here's another look at that last sequence with Herrera coming over on Johnson.
That's a soft foul. You know, the forward's not challenging for it. He's put no effort into it. I don't know how you can reward him with a foul there.
35th minute.
And then not call that one, which is,
right.
You know, if you're going to be anything, be consistent. That's the only thing. If you're going to be consistently bad or consistently good. And then, you know, kind of another inexplicable foul right there. So you're always going to get some weird things from each and every single referee.
Charlie Adams with the low stinger to Chang on the right side. Here comes Chang into the box. Can he keep control? Ultimately, no. But the Monarchs have Fresno on their heels with 10 players in the attacking half.
Say Bustamante actually gets that ball.
Right.
Watching Fresno clear their lines, he's not going to have any help for another 4 or 5 seconds. And that's almost an impossible task to ask a forward to do, is to hold up the ball for that long, especially with the guys like Kalen Ryan and Gallagher who like to be physical. He just has to fight. It's a wrestling match for him. They have to find a way to push up their lines and not be so defensive-minded. Even though it is 1-0, with everything that's been talked about and the dominance that's been showed by the Monarchs, going in at 1-0 wouldn't be the worst thing for Fresno.
Here comes Fresno. Nice counter, but it's 3-on-6. Getting numbers forward. Johnson has it in the middle. He plays wide left. He's got Cooper and Barrera. Cooper's centering pass sails over the goal and out for a Monarchs throw.
That's much better from Fresno. They really don't have the speed up top to get in behind unless it's a really well-timed pass and run. So do a good job of switching the field, get two guys making the same run, which kind of confused them a little bit. The overlap wasn't as smooth as it should have been, and the cross wasn't nearly as good as it needed to be. But, you know, it's definitely promising, seeing as Fresno, that's probably been their best attack the entire game.
Here's Velasquez, wide right to Chang.
This is dangerous.
Chang plays it into Mare. He was looking for Hurd, just a little too strong. Might not have been quite ready for that pinpoint cross from Michael Chang.
I mean, I'm a fan of Michael Chang. I like the way he plays, and, you know, obviously he has the stats to back it up this year, but I'd love to see him take on that defender there. You got a one-on-one opportunity. The center back's not really showing any support. Use your pace, use your speed. See if you can skin this guy. If you can skin him once, you can skin him all game.
Cooper, Barrera. Argueta in the middle. This is better from Fresno. Johnson ultimately dispossessed, and here's Seba and Mare, 2-on-3. Seba plays him to the right. Mare outside the box. Not his preferred positioning, but Sebastian cuts inside, gets it on his left, tried to play it into Hurd, not able to, and Fresno now coming the other way. Broken up nicely by Gallagher. Loose ball collected by Mare. He's got Sebastian. Sebastian can get in alone, chooses to cut back.
Did it again, kind of like you mentioned before.
Wide left to Hurd.
It's like he has some space to get in behind, and he chooses to come back and right back into the defender. Like to see him just take a little 3-yard step forward in front of the defender, then cut it back in front of him. Maybe open himself up for a shooting opportunity.
Adams, Velasquez, Chang. Very dynamic. Sebastian pulls the trigger with his left foot, saved easily there by Rainish. Maybe a tad of a bobble, a slight bobble, but
I don't know about it easily. He looked like if he was an outfielder, he took his eye off the. This just fell for a single when it should have been an out.
Yeah, you're right.
Get your arms out there, get there extended. That's definitely something that you can be coached right there, probably at halftime by the goalkeeping coach. Make sure you're more sure, because if you spill that, you got guys right on top of you at the 6. So need to be careful with those balls.
Johnson at midfield.
It's a great ball.
Nice ball over the top for Fresno. Gallagher challenging. Bustamante causing a lot of trouble there for the back line of the Monarchs, and it'll end up a goal kick for Jake Leaker.
I like that by the referee, though. The ball gets sent back, and it's just a first-time ball over to from Ribeiro. Went to a streak in Bustamante, but Gallagher going with him from stride for stride shows great strength. Both of them do. Bustamante gets position, and Gallagher fights back and is able to kind of see it out for a goal kick. Well done by both teams.
Leaker sends it up. 50-50 balls there in the midfield, and be a Monarchs throw.
You know, even if Fresno don't end up getting a goal in the last 5 minutes here, can they get 1 or 2 more chances and build up a little bit more confidence going forward to make the halftime talk a little bit easier on them and to actually have some kind of rhythm and confidence going into the second half?
We've seen a lot more energy from Fresno in the last 10 minutes than we did the previous 30.
But sometimes the other team's energy level can sometimes affect you to playing a little bit slower than you normally would.
Right.
And it seems like RSL really came out firing. They came out with a lot more energy, and it's kind of died off, and they've kind of accepted that Fresno's going to let them play, let them concede the bulk of the possession. It seems like that's exactly what they're willing to do here. But they need to step up, and they need to get that second goal. It's a very important second goal against a team like Fresno.
Johnson for Fresno collects at midfield. Barrera. Nice little combination attempt there for Fresno. Ultimately cleared out of danger for the Monarchs from their own area by Kalen Ryden. Quick throw for Fresno. Cooper. His lefty cross cleared out by Gallagher. Be another throw.
I call them reaction runs, and that seems kind of what. There hasn't been too many crosses that have come in, but there's been 2 from Alex Cooper as of late. And there needs to be more proactive runs, getting to the near post first, getting in front of your defenders. Jamal Johnson not really giving himself a chance there to be in a good position to receive across from Cooper.
Chang clears it out of the corner, but not out of danger. Fresno retains possession there. Del Campo anticipating. Now the Monarchs going the other way. Chang.
Great run by Mayer here.
Big striker for the Monarchs, Juan Ignacio Mare, deep in the corner. One-on-one with Feiwo. Can't get the cross in. And it's out. It'll be another Monarchs throw, top of the 18 extended.
Mayer and Chang kind of doing the same thing there, waiting for the defender to make a move before they actually make theirs. But he's waiting for you to make a move. Gotta show him something a little bit more. I guess something with a little bit more commitment to make him believe they're going to do something and move the ball yourself. All you need is a yard of space there. There was no player better at that I ever played with. It was probably Juan Pablo Angel when he was in his later years.
Right.
And he would just practice 1-yard shots where he would just move the ball 1 yard and shoot. He lost all his speed, but he still had that ability in the box to create that space. And that's what I'd like to see Mayer and Chang more so in a couple situations early in this game. I'd like to see him do.
Ryden and Gallagher across the back line. Ryden finds Adams. His big diagonal into Chang in the right side. Controlled nicely there by Chang. He dribbles into the box, gets a cross away. Top of the 6th, cleared away by Fresno, but not out of danger. Velasquez, Chang, Herrera. Herrera looking for the far post cross for Hurd. Headed away. It'll be yet another Monarchs. Well, it would have been a Monarchs corner, but now they're saying Hurd was off.
Adams
be a Fresno restart.
Adams picking up right there from where Portillo left off. Watching Portillo the last few games, you can just tell that he has about 10 to 15 balls. He just spreads 40-yard balls diagonally. He does a beautiful job of it. Charlie Adams is one of the cleanest ball strikers on this team, and he just sends a ball in there. What's going to be picked?
Here comes Velasquez, getting it on his left, pulls the trigger wide left for a goal kick. I don't know if Maré's crossover run might have disrupted that timing.
Absolutely does. That is super frustrating for Sebastian Velasquez. Just give him an opportunity. Give him an option out wide. Stay out wide. Don't bring your defender over with him. If he's going to be one-on-one, especially there, you're 2v2. You either make that run behind him or you just stay out there and you just let him do what he wants to do. I think he probably made that run across him because he knows that, if anything, Sebastian likes getting the ball on his left foot, so he thought he might be clearing space for him there. So that just comes with playing together more.
Yep. Rainish with the long goal kick to midfield. Fresno wins it. Throw. They'll reset across the back line.
Only a few minutes left. Against OCSC, they gave up a late PK.
Yep. Gallagher misjudges the long ball in, but no harm.
Against Swope Park, they got a goal in this time, so you know this is there seems to be conceding a goal or giving up a goal in this time. So this is a time where just more focus is going to be needed. Close out halves.
Acosta vacating his left back position, trying to make something happen. Fresno unable to take advantage. Maré checks back deep, plays in Adams. Adams rushing towards midfield, gets around one guy. Finds Chang on the right. Chang back to Adams. Here comes Chang. Once again, Maré. Velasquez atop the 18. Chang from 22, cuts back to his right. Finds Velasquez, slight touch. Dekes the keeper, and his shot is just wide right.
Wow. I mean, that just shows the quickness of Sebastian Velasquez. Michael Chang does a great job here at the top of the box to create himself a little bit of space. Looks like he wasn't going to have the strength to get there. Shows the strength, get a little toe poke. Sebastian gets his right toe on it. And I think he definitely knows he could have done better with that. He just needed to get it over and somehow pulls it to the right. Unfortunate. That would have been a huge goal going into the half, taking a 2-0 lead.
The big leg sweep attempt from Rainish to save that caused Velasquez with the little chip, and Velasquez chip going just wide right. 1 minute of stoppage. We're probably 30 seconds into that here as Fresno looks to move ahead.
And Rainish with good speed for such a big guy coming off. He gets down very quickly and disrupts Sebastian Velasquez and keeps it at 1-0. That was a huge play for...
That's the half. Monarchs 1, Fresno 0. Michael Chang, the goal scorer. Sebastian Velasquez, the catalyst for the home side here at Zions Bank Stadium in Harriman, Utah. Chad, your overall thoughts on what we just witnessed over the last 45 minutes?
I mean, it was pretty much just one-way traffic. It was all in the Monarchs' favor. Fresno came with a lot of disinterest and not enough energy at the start of this game. And Real Monarchs came out flying. Great goal, great ball by Kalen Rydens to Sebastian Velasquez, who plays a great ball to Chang for the early goal. But if I'm Mark Briggs, I'm a little disappointed with the outcome.
Not to have gotten more?
Not with the play, but with the outcome. I'm a little disappointed at 1-0. That 2-0 would have made my halftime talk much easier. But, you know, now he needs to just go in, just pretty much say, hey, do exactly what you guys were doing, but let's find the back of the net. Play with a little more urgency in the attacking third.
All right, we're going to take a little break here from Zions Bank Stadium. On the other side, we'll talk to Real Salt Lake Assistant General Manager and Real Salt Lake Academy Chief Operating Officer, Elliot Fall. You're watching USL Soccer.
Welcome to episode 7 of The Breakdown. I've got my good friend and roommate Cody Mizell with me. Welcome to the show, mate.
Jack, always a pleasure. Best haircut in USL.
We're going to be analysing the saves of the week this week, something slightly different. Cody will obviously give his critique on the goalkeeper, and I'll be able to give an analysis of the attacking play, so it should be a good one.
To the right side, blocked out of harm's way, allows Restrepo to get back in. Casares a chance.
So it's a good couple actions here from Diego Restrepo. First, he's coming for a cross, looking like his 20-year-old self. Second one, makes himself big and gets himself in a good position, and honestly makes a good save, push over the bar.
Yeah, from an attacking perspective, Fresno here, when Bustamante picks up the ball and Restrepo is literally 2 or 3 yards in front of him, he makes the great decision to pass it. It gives his team the opportunity and the defense of San Antonio to get back and get into a good position. So Restrepo makes a great decision. It's very forward-thinking. It's on his front foot, and it's a fantastic play.
In dangerously to the penalty area. Great save by Maxi Crepeau.
So this clip has a couple good things in it. First of all, good decision from Crepeau to stand his line, and obviously when the header's in 6 yards out, makes a good decision, good feet, stands strong and makes a strong save to the right, keep his team in the game midway through the first half.
Yeah, and Kevin Politz takes advantage of losing his man. It's a great set piece, great ball in. One thing that maybe if he had the header again, he might choose to head it back across goal into the corner. You know, it makes it more difficult for the keeper to do that. But again, it's a fantastic effort on goal. Like Cody said, it's great reflexes from Crepeau, and it's a fantastic play.
Gets away from his defender, now sends it in towards goal. Headed save, Marcinkowski.
Marcinkowski, I think it's my vote for save of the week this week. Puts himself in a great spot to make the save. Well defended by his defender as well to have his back after this brilliant save.
Jacob probably has in his head to head it down. You know, when you head it down, it makes it more difficult for keepers when it's at their feet. And that's exactly what he does there. So in my opinion, he doesn't do anything wrong. He does the right thing and heads it down. And Marcinkowski, it's a fantastic save. You know, reflexes are fantastic on that play. I hope you all enjoyed episode 7 of The Breakdown, something slightly different this week. Thanks again, Cody, for coming on the show.
Jacko, pleasure working with you, man.
I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
To the right side, blocked out of harm's way, allows Restrepo to get back in. Casares a chance. What a save by Restrepo. It was another fantastic save by Diego Restrepo.
This one delivered in dangerously to the penalty area. Great save by Maxi Crepeau off that close range header.
Oh my goodness, that was an absolute terrific save, Graham.
Cashier from distance, pushed up and over the crossbar, a good look, and that one had eyes for the back of the net.
Gets away from his defender, now sends it in towards goal. Headed save, Marcinkowski. Rebound won't go either, and Reno able to clear it away. Comes to Walker. Walker will have a go! It's a great save by Williams to pop it over the bar. Nice little back pass, Johnson, and the equalizer evens the game at 1. Jamal Johnson, his 4th goal of the season so far.
Here's the Roughnecks, though. Best run that they've had all game. Controlling it, shooting and scoring. Slid away. Now a chance, a rip is in! Efrain Alvarez.
He's got my man on the bench for sure.
Looking for Murray. He's onside. Monarchs have a chance. Murray, shot, and goal! Claude Murray in the 91st minute of play.
Down at the same point in time, he just cuts the back of his heel.
Oh, what a ball here. It's McLaughlin.
In Science Bank Stadium here in Harriman, Utah, the home of Science Bank Real Academy. Chad Barrett joined here at halftime by Elliot Fall, the assistant GM for Real Salt Lake. Elliot, just give us your initial impressions on head coach Mark Briggs' efforts this season to kind of.
All right, here we go. One more game.
Give us your thoughts on head coach Mark Briggs, kind of continuing in 2018, the foundation that he set up in 2017 with regards to the Monarchs' success.
Sure. Yeah. No. Look. I mean, Mark's done a phenomenal job. He's, he stepped in. He stepped in last year in a little bit of a tricky situation where was the assistant coach to start the year. One game as the assistant coach, and then he was named head coach of the team, and took them on a fantastic run, and has just continued that run this year. I mean, like they've you watch the way the team plays. They play the style we're looking for. They're dangerous. They're fearless on the road. I mean, they're a fun team to watch, and that's a real testament to the job that Mark and his staff, who deserve a lot of credit as well, have done.
10 homegrown players, I believe, between Real Monarchs, Real Salt Lake, all academy products. We are now seeing international success from guys like Richie Ledesma, who's played a few games this season already for the Monarchs, as well as Sebastian Soto, who leads the Development Academy in scoring, just won the Golden Boot for the U.S. Under-19s over in Slovakia. Talk a little bit about the goal of the academy in Utah and in Arizona as we develop this pipeline from the academy to the Monarchs to Real Salt Lake, and also now including the women's side on Utah Royals FC.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, look, the academy is there to produce professional players for the Monarchs and RSL in the long run. And as you've said, Martin and his staff have done a fantastic job over the years of developing professionals, and they're only continuing to do that. And this facility is really kind of the centerpiece at this point of that development structure, because we now have the academy boys and the professional teams under one roof, and it's awesome to see these kids train day to day with the academy, and then all right, Sebastian, Richie, you guys are killing it with the academy. Come on up. Let's train with the first team this week. Let's train with the Monarchs this week. Richie, you're going to play some games with the Monarchs, and it's just the ability to graduate players at will and to bring players up through the ranks and continue to test them is making a massive difference for us.
You said graduate, and that's like when people think that the academy of the Monarchs are Monarchs to kind of like Nick Beasley and Connor Sparrow and Taylor Pay did for this last year, where you get promoted after the year. But having that in season and being able to use that as depth, much as you see Aaron Herrera and Danny Acosta, like we saw Taylor Pay and Marcelo Silva do the other day, it's good for them to come back for RSL to get minutes at this field. But how is it for that academy product in there to, all right, you're at the top of your academy product, but then you go and step into a Monarchs training, and then it just all becomes, now you're back at the bottom of the rung. And I think that's such a good thing, because it doesn't allow you to rest on your laurels. And you see in Richard Ledesma, he's just absolutely, like, only 16 years old, and you can already just see what this kid's all about. And I was watching one of the academy games today. Amazing players, amazing talent coming up.
Yeah, you touched on it a little bit there. I mean, it's the ability to bring a kid from the U19s into a Monarchs training session or into a Monarchs game is, like you said, it's another way for us to test a kid. It's another way for us to see, all right, Sebastian, you're leading the country in goal scoring by 14 goals. Well, there's not a whole lot more you can prove at an academy level. So let's see what you can do in a Monarchs game. Let's see what you can do in a Monarchs training session. And that is, it's another level for us as a staff to be able to evaluate and say, all right, this guy's ready. This guy's ready. This guy needs a little bit more. So send him back down. He can play some more with the Monarchs and really kind of get back into that groove. And so it's that ability to bring guys back and forth that has been the most beneficial as a staff and I think from a developmental perspective. And it also allows us, frankly, it allows us to get that first kind of break the ice out of the way. When you were a young player at one point, when you played your first professional game, most kids, they're a deer in the headlights at first, right? They're, and you don't know how they're going to react to that. And so to be able to see that, and then, all right, you're going to go back and play some academy games. You're going to play the playoffs, and then you're going to come back and you're going to come to preseason. And it allows us to ease that transition and to facilitate that transition in a more impactful way.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember when I used to be in the reserve league, and that was a great little thing for me. But when I was in the national team playing club soccer, and I'd go play for the national team, I'd come back. It seemed like everything was slower.
Yes.
And I'm sure that's what happens with these guys. They come back and they're like, wow, is it only a difference? I only trained with them for a week.
Yep.
But it's a much different thing. It's physicality, it's strength, it's everything that they need to know that they don't have to use yet.
Yep. And honestly, it's that. It's bringing that level back down with you as well. That is also important because it allows the kids who
contagious.
It is contagious. And you see the other kids on the academy teams, they also are supportive of their teammates. They're supportive. They're out here watching games. They get to see everything on a day-to-day basis as well, so they have a better idea of what it is. It's just, look, having everything under one roof is a game changer for us.
So, Elliot, before we let you go, what is the next step that needs to happen as we kind of flesh out this big club pyramid amongst 10,000 kids in Arizona, 3 teams really here with the 19s, the 17s, the 15s, Monarchs, Royals, and RSL?
Look, I think we've been given some amazing tools. We've been given some amazing resources as an organization, as a staff, to maximize the development that we can do on a day-to-day basis with youth players. But now our task is to get the structure right and get the organization right so that we are bringing in the right players. We are bringing players along in the right way, in the right sequence, and understanding everything that we have at our fingertips. And I think that's the next step is, we've thrown a lot of things in right now. Now we got our work cut out for us, and we got to dig into that and make sure we get it right.
Well, the winning culture that Mark Briggs and the Monarchs are creating here and kind of the hub of that pyramid has been phenomenal to watch.
No
question. We look forward to the rest of the 2018 season. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
All right, Chad, let's get into the first half highlights here for the Monarchs. The Michael Chang goal, obviously the highlight of the first half.
Kalen riding, great ball in from Sebastian Velasquez like we talked about before. Cut back here, a move that Feiwo hasn't fallen for since then, and then Chang looks like he was going to open up and just kind of blast one kind of the keeper, but you're really at the striker's mercy here because he has an open shot and really has the whole goal. Comes in with great speed, uses his speed to be his power for his shot. Very tough goal to save. Good goal, great start, as you were saying.
Great ball over the top. Every time I see it, just looks better and better.
And if you could see the whole play at that time, you could see Sebastian he doesn't even make a hard run. He just kind of floats into it.
All right, second half kick. We're off. Monarchs up 1-0 on a Michael Chang goal. As we've discussed, Jake Leaker holding down the clean sheet for the Monarchs in his first professional start against Fresno FC.
And he hasn't really been called upon to make any great save. He only has one save on one shot on target that happened in the very beginning of the game. But did really well with his feet.
Here's Johnson for Fresno. Plays out wide left. There's the cross. Flashing header goes just wide right of Leaker's post, and that's easily Fresno's most dangerous chance of the game.
Yeah, and you really the build-up to it wasn't much because I was talking, but that was a very dangerous chance, and that's something that Briggs is something we talked about right before we went to break. Is you can't give up these kind of chances when you come out such a dominant first half. You don't want to give up such an easy goal 40 seconds into the second half. Monarchs have to wake up.
Goal kick there for Leaker. Fresno controls in the midfield.
But a much brighter start by Fresno FC. That's going to give them confidence. Had a good chance at the end of the first half, had a good chance at the start of the second half. So might be more of a game than we thought we were in for.
Here comes Fresno. Long ball over the top, squirts out of bounds. It'll be a Monarchs throw.
If you're watching the halftime show, you saw one of the goals of the week last week was from Jamal Johnson from a great play. You know they have the ability to create beautiful goals. And that's just something that the Monarchs really have to be careful for. They can score in a hurry.
Here's Johnson, 40 yards from goal, playing wide left, cut off there by Herrera nicely. Gallagher looking over the top for Velasquez, broken up by Fresno. Hurd challenges in the center circle. Cazares, we haven't mentioned his name much, but he wins that ball, plays to Johnson. Johnson battling with Ryden, a little bit of contact, no whistle. Hernandez taking it the other way to Velasquez for the Monarchs. Mare dispossessed there nicely by Ribeiro.
There seems to be a little bit of life that was found in the locker room at halftime. I don't know if it was Frank Yallop's speech or what it was, but it seems like they've woken up and they've come out to play. A lot more physicality to their game, a lot more urgency in their passing. This has been a good start, a bright start from Fresno State or Fresno FC.
Adam Smith on the sideline for Fresno. He is animated and engaged. Here's Mickey Daly with the throw.
And looking ever so cool with those sunglasses. I don't know where the sun is, but.
Here comes Hurd. He gets around a sliding attempt. He's got Mare in the middle. He cuts it back. Ref plays advantage. Velasquez runs on to the dispossessed ball. Hernandez wide right. Here's Chang. Cuts it to his left. Thought Herrera was going to overlap for him, and a little bit of miscommunication there on the right side. Rare miscommunication today for those two.
You know, and that happens. That happens with RSL. With Tony Beltran out, it's been hard to find somebody that connects with Savarino as well as Tony and him did. And that's the same thing. Aaron Herrera and Michael Chang haven't had too much time together. So that just comes from a couple games. Juan Mer, you can see he's been more comfortable with the players around him just by playing in some games. So it's all, you know, Aaron Herrera is still working his way back. He's been playing very well the last 2 games, but, you know, it'll be important for him to make those forward runs. It was a good pass by Chang. Next time I expect him to be there.
Ooh. Adams finds Murray. He's dispossessed, but Acosta there to run onto it. Hernandez, Acosta, and Danny just can't keep it inbounds. Talk about chemistry between two guys that have played with each other since they were 16, Hernandez and Acosta.
Yeah, you know, they know each other almost as good as they know themselves. So, you know, they don't have the opportunity to often play with each other. You know, this is kind of a rare occasion. So I'm pretty sure they're relishing it.
There's a poor clearance by the Fresno center back, resulting in a Monarchs throw. Adams will send it back to Ryden to reset for Mark Briggs' team. Here's Acosta on the left. Plays a hopeful ball in. Intercepted by Fresno. Attempt over the top for Johnson. He got a little twisted and thought he might have been off. Here's Gallagher going the other way. Hernandez to Ryden. 51st minute. Long ball over the top, looking for Hurd. Ryden really likes to try to pick guys out from deep. Collision at midfield. Hernandez gets the ball. Again, advantage played. Herrera bombing forward, and he's fouled about 25 yards out.
I think he might have got away with one there. It looked like actually a decent tackle from Feiwu there. It looks like he might have got a toe to it. Great run forward by Aaron Herrera. He wins the ball in midfield, makes about 20 yards of progress before Feiwu approaches him. And then he just tries to cut to the left. See, oh, no, Aaron Herrera actually got that touch. So, you know, great move there. That's what I was saying just right there with Michael Chang getting forward, being more comfortable. That's what you love to see, Aaron Herrera. That'll delight Mike Pecky and Mark Briggs.
Charlie Adams looks like he's going to take this free kick. Once again, about 25 yards out towards the
This is right up his alley.
Center right of the box, yeah.
He likes to hit with power. You know, close into the box, I would probably say Hernandez or Velasquez would be the better choice. But from this distance, Charlie Adams.
Free kick low attempt right into the wall. Hernandez tries to corral the deflection. It goes all the way back to Ryden. He finds Hurd. Monarchs still have numbers forward. Acosta down the left side. And Hurd is going to get called for the foul there, using his body to shield the defender from the loose ball.
Interested to see where this referee actually went to referee school, because I've seen more fouls not called and more non-fouls called. It seems like he's kind of stuck on opposite day.
Long ball over the top. Ryden lets it drop. Leaker and Ryden not on the same page, and disaster is averted for the Monarchs.
I mean, the disaster was averted, and it was almost completely taken back by Leaker, who was obviously trying to make up for his mistake. Almost puts in kind of a rugby type tackle on the forward. I can't see who it was. I think it was Bustamante. And he gets in behind, and he comes out, and he realizes he can't use his hands, and last second he gets back. But look at him hitting Bustamante, making it look like he's trying to get back to goal, but that could have easily been called by this referee, who's been calling some kind of weird fouls.
Yeah, that's the old, I got it, you take it, oh wait, I'm out of the 18.
That's something that he won't put on the highlight reel, I guarantee that. But luckily for him, Ryden does a great job and clears the danger.
All right, here's Fresno pushing forward, looking for that equalizer here in the 54th minute.
And you see
errant pass.
You see Danny Barrera trying to make sure that they get in a good position and not let them out so easily as they've been doing most of this game. They have to take a more forward-thinking approach and really try and win balls in the defensive half of the Monarchs, which when they've turned it over, they've had a little bit of success.
Yeah.
Nothing that's turned into a really good chance, but you know, at least they're not defending like they were the entire first half.
Yeah, it does look like the Fresno side has a much higher line, and like you mentioned, a lot more energy here in this half to try to pursue that equalizer.
Well, Jamal Johnson who looked like he was playing a left mid position. Makes sense. Put your main goal scorer up top and put him in the middle, and that's what they've done. So it seems that little change of formation and personnel has worked out well for him.
Jose Hernandez trying to make something happen there for the Monarchs. Mixing it up with Mare and Velasquez.
It's interesting to you see Adam Smith, and you were talking about him earlier, and despite the cool sunglasses, he made a great move here. That he actually is they're playing better defensively because he's actually
being more attacking.
Yeah. He's keeping his three forwards up, and he's telling him not to move.
Here's Fresno with numbers again. Nice play by Gallagher to squelch that opportunity, but then he gives up the ball. Here's Johnson, Bustamante.
And to get back to my point, in doing so, by keeping those three players up, he is keeping Danny Acosta and Aaron Herrera in the back, and they're not pushing forward. So it's been a little bit harder for the Monarchs to find people going forward because Acosta and Herrera they've stopped streaking forward so much.
Chang flips it wide right to Mare. It's knotted out by Bewo, and it'll be a Monarchs throw. Here's Velasquez. Inside to Jose Hernandez. Dribbles backwards. Gets the ball back from Gallagher. Here's Chang. Hernandez trying to get deep into that corner. Velasquez finds him. Crosses into the center. Back to Velasquez. Hernandez trying to dribble around the larger defender. Just nodded off the ball. And here comes Fresno once again.
Looked like a son going against his dad. That can be deflating sometimes.
Johnson played into space over the back line. Ryden in pursuit. Center. What a cross.
Terrific ball.
Far post, and the shot attempt is just wide left by Bustamante, and what a ball by Johnson.
I mean, the pinpoint accuracy that takes from Jamal Johnson to even find Bustamante on the back post through Gallagher and onto an on-rushing Kylan Ryden, and to not have the keeper come out and get it, that is as inch perfect as it gets. That's putting the ball 1 foot from the pin. That was pinpoint accuracy, and unluckily for Bustamante, he's just a hair short on that finish.
Yeah, the back line and the Sorry, backline and the goalkeeper kind of glued to their seats right there, as Justin Portillo will enter here in the 57th minute for Charlie Adams, as Mark Briggs makes the first of 3 available subs here for the Monarchs.
And out of the 3 midfielders that were in there, Portillo coming in is a true 6. Charlie Adams is kind of a roaming playmaker, as well as Jose Hernandez and Sebastian Velasquez is obviously their attacking mid, they're 10. So he can see that Fresno is probably getting a little bit more joy than he would like them to have. Bring on Portillo, who's just shown to be a solid 6 and as reliable as Kyle Beckerman is for RSL. Imagine he'll probably still spray 10, 15 balls in this 30 minutes that he has.
Here comes Fresno, another long ball over the top. Bustamante just about a step offside. And
this was a close one.
This Monarchs back line needs to kind of regain their composure here, Chad. The first 13 minutes of the second half have not been pretty.
I mean, for Bustamante, who doesn't have the best speed to get in behind there, and I wish we had a second look at that offsides, because from my angle, it looked like it was inch close. So very, referee makes a decision. That's the way it is. But, that's almost a warning shot for the Monarchs to be careful and watch their lines.
Chang and Hurd have flipped sides.
It's like Sebastian Velasquez just took a little chin music from the bottom of the cleat of Juan Mayer there.
He's down in a heap. Gets back up. Hernandez uses his dome to block that long clearance. Nice ball won there by Chang. Velasquez, Hernandez. Wide right to Herrera.
It's a great first touch.
Herrera wide right, Hurd's cross to no one. Tracked down by Chang. Costa trying to get in on the attacking action here. Acosta, Chang. Playing kind of the square ball game there. Velasquez back to Acosta. Hernandez.
That was great 4-person work right there. Those are the things that kind of go unnoticed to the fair weather fan, but just to keep that possession there is nice and very annoying for opposing defenders.
Here's Velasquez and Mare trying to play the 1-2. Ryden steps up to win the ball back for the Monarchs. Here's Chang going deep into the corner. Can he get it? Yes. Cuts back to his right foot, inside to Hernandez. Towed away. Mare's there. Inside the 18. Plays it back out. Got help from Acosta. The ball is cleared by Fresno. It'll be a deep throw still for the Monarchs, who are putting all the pressure they can the last few minutes as we enter the final half hour of the game. Monarchs 1, Fresno 0.
And all center backs watching that, that was a great step from Kalen Ryden right there to keep the pressure on and not allow them easy escapes. Great lesson to be learned, to make sure you get in front of the forward.
Portillo directing traffic as he shields those back 2 center backs. Acosta running in as an overlap, cleared away by Faywo.
Great cover there by Faywo. Danny Acosta made a great run in behind. Good ball from Jose Hernandez. You touched on their relationship and how long they've been playing before. You could just see it on display right there.
Chang and Acosta play all the way back to Ryden. Square ball to Gallagher at the midfield stripe. Portillo trying to present himself as an option. And it's going to be a throw-in for Fresno, as Hurd unable to keep the ball in bounds. Headed away by Herrera. Here's Portillo. Plays it into Mare, 20 yards from goal. Hernandez finds Chang down the left side. He's deep towards the touchline. His cross to the top of the 6. Mare's shot deflects high. Possession retained by the Monarchs. Here's Hernandez. Slips into Velasquez. Velasquez dribbles towards the end line.
Off the post.
And it goes off the post by Hurd. Herrera with the cross back in, looking for Mare. Headed away by Fresno. Challenge there by Hernandez, and he's going to get whistled for the foul There might have been 2 bites at the cherry there for the Monarchs inside the 6.
Jose does a great job here. Sees a darting Sebastian Velasquez, who always is going to take this touch. Then he plays the ball. Juan Merritt tries to get a touch on it, and Hurd, I don't think he knows too much about this. Just a quick reaction.
Yeah.
And literally a millisecond before, and that's in off the post. And it's just really unlucky. Fresno just somehow staying alive at this 1-0 and allowing themselves the chance to get back into this game, but only by the skin of their teeth.
Fresno resetting in the back, the 2 center backs playing square. Del Campo and Feiwo. Finally, Cazares moves it forward. Argueta, Bustamante.
This is where you need to switch to the field. You've already brought it to that side. Can you switch it again, but do it faster? With a team that is set up as well as the Monarchs are defensively, you have to move them around in order to get people open. Can't just keep it one side.
Johnson checking back to Cazares. Barrera unable to hold it on there. And here's Hurd on the break. Hurd, he has options, chooses to play back to Portillo. Again, Chang calling for it wide left.
Again, Feiwo doing a great job of cover in that position there. Or else, you know, Hurd, who has explosion and pace, probably the only person he's not beating there is Feiwo.
Costa has it 40 yards from goal, playing with Hernandez and Velasquez, ultimately all the way back to Portillo and Ryden. Portillo and Velasquez. Mare checking back. Poked away there by Cazares, and Fresno gets out of danger. Long ball out of the back from Feiwo. He's got Johnson on the move. Johnson splits the center backs, and nice recovery from Ryden there to...
that was hard to watch. He was in behind. He had the speed to beat both players and puts his head down and actually takes his eyes off the ball.
I don't know if the ball got stuck on the turf under him or if Ryden got enough of a touch or a shoulder charge there to distract.
He was past it. Maybe he gets an arm in there that makes him bend forward. I'm not too sure, but it looks like he tried to go down with his head, tried to head it, and it ends up getting cut under his feet because he takes his eye off the ball for a quick second.
Here's Velasquez and Hernandez dancing in the box. Wide right, back to Velasquez. He's cutting to his left. Top of the box, Portillo takes a shot. Doesn't get through the mixer. Fresno clears. Challenge after challenge ultimately lands with Johnson. One-on-one with Ryden as Fresno back on the attack. And Johnson's shot/cross attempt harmlessly sails wide right as Jake Leaker breathes a sigh of relief back there between the pipes for the Monarchs.
That's what dribbling without actually thinking looks like, because he actually just, you know, he has a one-on-one, and Kalen Ryden's not the easiest player to beat individually, but as he's approaching him, he really didn't actually show that he was willing to do anything. He wanted to get a shot the entire time, but he knows he can't use his speed against Kalen Ryden.
65th minute, Monarchs 1, Fresno 0. Chang and Acosta not quite on the same page on that overlap, and it'll be a Fresno throw going the other way, just in front for Cazares of the fourth officials table.
A little bit is the same as Chang and Herrera on the other side. Just that quick little second, just knowing a player gives you that opportunity. That's a great interlinking play to get out of danger in that position, though.
Gallagher back to Leaker. He took a extra touch, clears it only as far as Fresno. And there's going to be an offside flag up on Cazares, nullifying the shot attempt for Fresno.
I mean, how many times Fresno's have found themselves offside? It's maybe only been 4 or 5 times, but they haven't had too many attacks. So they've killed a lot of their own attacks by being offside, and whether or not that's a great line by the Monarchs or whether or not that's just laziness and a little bit of lapse of concentration from the Fresno FC forwards, something needs to be addressed.
Ryden, Portillo, Gallagher, Velasquez. Back to Gallagher.
One thing I love about, if you watch Portillo off the ball, is understanding of space and sacrificing space for his own teammates is really just shows how smart of a soccer player he actually is.
Long ball from Gallagher looking for Chang, ultimately tracked down by Ryden. Portillo settles at the center stripe, finds Acosta to Velasquez.
Chang. He keeps cutting back into traffic when he's already through.
When he's got space, yeah. Here's Chang cutting back to his right foot. Back to Portillo. He likes the shot from distance if it's there. Instead, plays in Herrera. Herrera's pass intercepted, and it's going to be a foul on the Monarchs going the other way. Fresno getting ready to make a double sub here in the 68th minute. Cuevas and Verhoeven. Looks like they'll come in for Argueta and Barrera.
The Fresno, it seems like they had a good little go of it at the start of this half, and then it's turned into what the first half was. It's just a lot of dominant possession by the Monarchs, and playing in Fresno's half. Need fresh legs on. I'm very in favor of this double change. You need to drastically change something here, not just one person coming in, but two people coming in. They have a little bit of speed, if they have a little bit of skill, or just fresh legs. Something needs to be spiced up here for Fresno FC going forward.
Again, Cuevas and Verhoeven coming in for Fresno. Argueta and Barrera coming off. 69th minute. Monarchs trying to widen that 1-0 lead at home in pursuit of 10 points from 12 during this 4-game homestand.
And right there, Velasquez just showing his strength under the shadow of a very frail, kind of exterior. He's just so strong on the ball. And, it's all about body positioning. I keep telling people, you don't have to be the strongest person in the world to never lose the ball. Marco Papa, who never lifted a weight in his life, but I've also probably never seen anybody be able to keep the ball from people the way he does.
Sure. Leaker from his own box, boots it up, won by Fresno, settled although by Portillo. Chang, Hernandez, great little ball to Velasquez. Velasquez cruising forward, looking for Mare. His pass went off the back heel as Mare was trying to make that run.
Speaking of Hernandez and Acosta making those darting balls and behind that are beating those lines, this is what you practice all the time, is finding that forward in that space, but in between two or three players. There's countless drills that they do in small possession type areas where this is how they become great at this. And they're putting it on display here.
Velasquez again finds Acosta down the line. Acosta crossing to Mare, cleared away for a Monarchs corner. Mare couldn't get there. Hurd was there if the defensive player doesn't make the emergency clearance.
Great run forward. Danny picks his head up here, and he plays to play a low ball in there. And that's a really perfect ball. It either has to be on the ground or in the air. If you try and short hop him, it becomes a very hard finish for Juan Mer there. But he was just a little bit blocked by Del Campo on his way in. Needs to just get on the other side of that a little bit. That's what Acosta was looking for.
It'll be Portillo with the restart from the corner. Gallagher trying to head home the secondary attempt, saved easily by Rainish, but one back here by the Monarchs.
I would have loved to see Portillo try and chip the keeper there. He was about 16 yards out when he intercepted that pass.
Velasquez to Hernandez. Looking for Hurd, knocked away by Fresno. Verhoeven. Dispossessed there by Hernandez. Here's Acosta in the center circle.
There's great pack hunting there by the Monarchs, just hounding the ball, not giving him any space to do anything, and there were players streaking up the right side here.
I love how Kalen Ryden constantly skips two lines of defense with that left-footed passing up the middle.
And any coaches, any players, that's exactly what you want your team, that's exactly what you want your players to do. You want them to play north and south on the ground. If you're playing north and south on the ground every minute, you're doing something very right, and you're going to constantly beat the lines of midfield and defense and give yourself great chances throughout a game.
Hurd with the good defense to win the throw-in for the Monarchs.
But also on the flip side of that, you have Fresno FC who are getting split constantly. So what do you say to these guys to tell them, like, hey, how is this happening? How are there so many gaps? Is it a lack of communication? Is it a lack of energy? It's a lack of something that needs to be addressed.
Now Hurd winning the foul on the far side. 72nd minute. Velasquez plays Hernandez all the way back to Gallagher. They're right at midfield. Ryden surveying his options. Plays in Hernandez. Hernandez to Chang. Nice little give and go. Hernandez gets into the corner. Back to Portillo. Velasquez from 25. His pass intercepted nicely there by Fewo. And here comes Johnson from the center circle. Gallagher cuts off that through ball, though. Portillo slid into from behind. No call. Little shocking.
Really well timed. I mean, it's a no call. It's coming through the back here, but it looks like he gets the ball first and doesn't actually trail the leg. Really good challenge here from Jamal Johnson. Bustamante just not really keen to what was happening.
Right.
Jamal Johnson showing his frustration there, thinking that he could have got onto it, turned and shot.
Here's Portillo trying to move forward with Herrera. Hurd at midfield, plays all the way back to Gallagher.
Jamal Johnson has every right to do that to Bustamante. He busted his tail to get in that position, to create that opportunity, and didn't really see that same effort being put in by his teammates. So let him have an earful a little bit, rightfully so.
Here's Portillo directing traffic. Plays wide right to Herrera. Herrera, the pride of University of New Mexico for his U20 performance last summer. Acosta cuts back inside. Keeps. Plays to Velasquez. Hernandez. Herrera, Hernandez, Gallagher.
Content to keep possession here. The Monarchs just really showing great patience in their build-up, waiting for their opportunity.
There's the big flip to Chang. Chang not playing Acosta on the overlap. Instead, Portillo wins the ball back briefly. Velasquez outside to Portillo. On the left touchline, Acosta. Velasquez spins out of trouble.
Unbelievably lazy defending there by Ribeiro.
Nice through ball to Mare. Flag is up. Mare not happy with that.
Up to that point, though, Fresno FC at least showing that they are in better lines of four and making the Monarchs go from side to side rather from north to south. Makes it easier for you to defend, and it causes way less running.
75th minute. Danny Acosta heads the long ball down, retained by Fresno in the center circle. Broken up there nicely by Hurd. The Monarchs with Herrera trying to build out of the back. Gallagher. Wide left to Acosta. Acosta streaking up the left side. Chang cuts inside. Mare going towards the spot, but Acosta's ball sailed on him a little bit, and Kyle Reynes just let it go.
Mare has really been putting a great shift in. He's been working his tail off. Great hold-up play, showing that he's getting behind. But he's looking a little tired now. It looked like a darting run there. As soon as Acosta gets the ball, you'd like to see a diagonal run from somebody. And most times it has to be that target forward making a run in behind to a very high line that Fresno's holding, trying to get a goal back.
Another long Fresno ball, knotted down by Gallagher, controlled by Herrera. He gets out of trouble nicely. Here's Velasquez streaking forward. There's going to be a foul call there on Ribeiro.
Kind of a tough one to take for Ribeiro. I can definitely understand his frustration there. Sebastian's much smaller than him, and as he just kind of gets in his way and gets position, doesn't really throw his body into him too much. Maybe doesn't play the ball right away, but that's a soft call for me. But you know, the Monarchs will definitely take it.
77th minute. Here's the Monarchs restart. Gallagher riding.
Someone has to show the feet here harder. Give him a real option, because now you're left with this and you're playing nursing balls, and that's where people get hurt.
Chang plays it back to Ryden. He finds Velasquez. Velasquez trying to dribble through several Fresno defenders. Regained by Portillo. Acosta thought about crossing it from 30. Instead, reassesses, drops it off to Velasquez. Hernandez. Inside to Chang. Back to Hernandez. Portillo.
There needs to be pressure from somebody, you know?
Hernandez wins the foul call. It'll be a Monarchs free kick from about 30 yards as Andrew Brody prepares to enter for the Monarchs.
Looked like Ribeiro was a little bit frustrated from that foul that he just got called, so he throws in a little bit harder of a challenge on this one. Jose Hernandez, as we stated, much smaller than Ribeiro, coming off the worst out of that challenge. This is a very dangerous set piece. This is where Portillo wants to be. He gets to play an in swinger. This is where you kind of can shoot for the back post if you can play it, and what you need is darting runs across the box, just causing traffic. And if it's on goal, a lot of times it doesn't have to be touched.
The Brody sub will have to wait. Portillo takes the restart. In swinger to the spot, headed away by Faywo. Won by Hurd, and he's fouled just outside the 18. It'll be another free kick for the Monarchs here in the 79th minute.
I think that might have been the oh no, definitely Hurd, who might have got his last little contribution as well. Oh no, it looks like Chang will be coming off for Brody.
Brody on for Chang. There's a yellow card to the Monarchs defender. You'll get the look here.
After the service that Portillo just put in, that would work out perfectly here. Maybe a little bit higher to get over the wall, but this is definitely in his wheelhouse. And he showed a couple of games ago that he's definitely in the pecking order, along with Sebastian Velasquez, to take this free kick. We'll wait while Chang takes his time getting off the field to let Brody in.
Cazares with the yellow for Fresno. So we approach the 80th minute here at Zions Bank Stadium, Harriman, Utah, on the campus of the Zions Bank Real Academy.
And a good shift here from Michael Chang. Gets his goal early on. Has a couple more one-on-one opportunities that, you know, I wish he had kind of run at the player a bit more, but, you know, definitely put in a good shift. And, you know, right now he holds the game winner. Now he gets his rest. And now his watch has ended. Just kidding.
4 games in 12 days for the Monarchs here. Chang has been spectacular in every one. Here's Velasquez with the lefty. Got a little touch on it over the wall. It's got to be a corner here.
I'm really shocked right now at this refereeing crew, to be honest.
I thought there was 2 touches, one by the wall, one by the keeper.
I don't know what he's looking at. It obviously takes a touch to give it the top spin to actually hit down. It looks that was destined for the top corner. It was a very important touch from the Fresno FC defender in the wall.
Brody, nice ball over the top to Mare. Faywo is there to clear it from danger. Mare gets into him after the ball was cleared. And Rainish did not get a touch on that, as you saw in the replay, but the wall certainly did.
And I don't know if you needed our angle. I think from our angle, it's harder to see if there was a deflection than it is right there down on the floor. And I know he's staring at the wall, so I'm a little bit confused at how this actually happened. But Faywo just kind of heading it out here. Juan Mayer, again, just working tirelessly. Doesn't really hit him. And Faywo just adds a little LeBron James at the end of his acting career. That was about as believable as Shaq, so.
And we're going to have a throw in here on the near side for Danny Acosta and the Monarchs as they try to salt away this game. Ryden over to Gallagher. Gallagher, long ball over the top, looking for Velasquez in the right corner. Cleared away by Faywo. It'll be a Monarchs throw just inside the attacking half.
Faywo denying the replay that Sebastian Velasquez linked up on the first goal. Definitely not letting him get behind this time.
Hernandez back to Portillo. Hernandez all the way back to Gallagher. Gallagher wide left to Ryden. Ryden looking over the top to Mare, knocked down. Now Fresno heading the other way. Here comes Acosta up the left.
Good patience.
Plays Portillo on the inside. Ton of time and space for Justin. Wide right to Herrera. Side to Velasquez. Back to Herrera. Looks like Fresno getting ready to make their third and final change of the day.
Christian Chaney looking to bring in some speed up top. Goal scoring prowess. They only need one.
Long ball over the top from Gallagher looking for Mare. So instead a Fresno throw from there deep in their half.
And Ryden just not allowing an inch of space between him and Jamal Johnson. The danger with Johnson's in behind, so anything in front of him, Ryden is really just getting up the tail of Jamal Johnson and knowing that he's their leading goal scorer and he's not going to let him have that kind of an effect on this game, especially late on.
There's the Chaney for Ribeiro substitution that you referenced. Long ball over the top. Gallagher lets it fall. Leaker collects.
You can expect to see Fresno SC turn into a championship team from England right now and just play north and south long balls.
Yeah.
That's pretty much, you put some speed up top, you leave the guys up there to battle for something. I think the Monarchs really have to, if I was Briggs, I'd probably be telling Acosta and Herrera to make sure they stay at home and not push forward.
Chaney with the foul. Restart here for Acosta.
They switch on to Aaron Herrera right here.
Gallagher nods it over to Brody. Herrera on the overlap down the right side. They cannot keep the ball in. It'll be another Fresno throw.
Nice run there by Aaron Herrera. Brody could take his touch inside and dribble for 15 yards. It's an unselfish run. Of course, if Aaron Herrera gets it, he loves it. But at the same time, it works just as well if Brody comes inside there.
5 minutes plus stoppage for the Monarchs to try to get to 7-1-1 on the season. Kalen Ryden battling there with Chaney, does well, knocks it out. Be a Fresno throw.
That's sometimes difficult for center backs who are tired, been playing 85 minutes, to see a forward like Chaney with his speed come in. All of a sudden, you don't have the same time and space that you had before.
Mickey Daly with the throw, headed away by Ryden. Ball squirting through. Nice job again by Ryden to clear it from danger for the Monarchs.
As we touched on, and that's really all it's going to take for Fresno is just a little bit of luck to squirt through.
It's rare for the Monarchs to have 10 or 11 behind the ball, but they do right now.
Haven't had it all.
Fresno bombing everything forward. Leaker challenging Chaney for that ball, and a nice job by the rookie from the University of Memphis to anticipate the big diagonal. And
ball in from Del Campo here, and it's to Chaney, who definitely has got some hop in his step, and Leaker comes out. Great decision making. Good to see that from the rookie. That's something that you don't see Raimondo do in those situations. You have to rely on the center backs and Glad and whoever else is back there. He's not that dominant goalkeeper that's going to come out and for every single cross. He most times stays on his line and makes terrific reflex saves.
Portillo dumps it into the corner, looking for Mare. He was off, so it'll be a restart here for Kyle Rainish and Fresno. 87th minute. Monarchs 1, Fresno 0. Cheney nodding it ahead.
Leaker making sure he stays in his box this time before he uses his hands.
Here's Herrera for the Monarchs down the right side. Finds Brody. Brody cuts in. He's looking for Mare. Mare and Fewo going one-on-one. That battle won by Fewo. And it's going to be a foul or a throw, I think. A foul on Mare and restart here, Fresno.
And Fewo has probably been the best player for Fresno FC. They've been under attack pretty much the entire game, but ever since the first ball over the top, he's adjusted well and shown really good spots where he's covered well for his team and saved some chances from becoming some glorious chances.
Nice turn by Cheney. I think he was of two minds there, whether to pass or to shoot. And the ball falls harmlessly through the box to Leaker here in the 88th minute.
Briggs wants to see possession. He wants to see Portillo sitting in that spot again. You got to play some balls in behind. You got to see some runs from Mayer, from Hurd. They're pushed up high line, and their outside backs are really launching themselves forward. The space is in those gaps. Take it to the corner and waste some time.
It's not something you see every day. Is Jose Hernandez winning a header in the center circle, finding Sebastian Velasquez as the Monarchs try to retain the possession you were just describing. Gallagher moving forward. He's been dying all game to get forward, apparently.
This would be the wrong time
Back to Herrera. Portillo covering for Gallagher.
No situation in which Briggs would like to see his center backs get dribbling forward at this point.
Big diagonal looking for Hurd. Nodded away by Mickey.
Just as I mentioned, that's exactly what you need. Just put it in the corner, and now you just pretty much pin them in this corner and just try and keep getting throw-ins and getting corners and wasting time. Bring it out here, switch it back around to the right side, go back around to the right corner.
Chandler Hoffman is going to enter for the last few minutes in place of Juan Ignacio Mare, who's had a great week. 2 goals. The game winner a week ago yesterday against OCSC.
And a really good performance. Another solid performance by him. He wasn't really dangerous as he was in the last 2 games, but he did what he needed to do. As that point man, really held the ball up well, worked really hard, never made it easy for Fewo or Del Campo to really find their game.
Hoffman looking for a goal here in stoppage, or in order to become the 3rd career USL man with 50 or more goals. Dane Kelly, of course, the all-time leader. Hoffman's been the captain for the first 7 games of the year.
And, this is nothing. He got a little bit cold. He scored 2 goals early on in the year. And, when he got to 49, it is that mental block getting above 50. Sometimes that can be tough. But Juan Mayer has deservingly so won that position for this last week. And whether or not it'll continue after that, you never know. But when the team keeps winning, normally you keep the same lineups.
Long ball out of the back from Cuevas. Falls into the mixer. Cleared by Acosta. Velasquez and Hoffman trying to put a little bit of pressure on that back line of Fresno. Another long ball over the top. 3 minutes of stoppage as Leaker collects.
Sebastian's played a hard game, but just at 5 yards. Can you just go 5 yards? Just try to impede any kind of progress. Make him throw him off a little bit so he can't play the exact ball that he wants to.
Hoffman battling. The ball squirts away. Collected, controlled by Fresno. Long ball over the top. Looking for Cheney. He's whistled offside.
Another offsides.
A little quizzical over that one, but
this has kind of been the story of their day. Any kind of thing that they've had going forward has been ultimately halted by their own fault and their own mistakes of being offside so many times.
Leaker will prepare to restart here. Long ball over the top. Brody challenging. Collected by Velasquez. He's just going to dribble into the corner. Ball is knocked away, and apparently it's a Fresno throw. Much to Sebastian's chagrin. Mickey Daly out wide right. Great effort there by Danny Acosta to cut that off.
Pretty well checked down there, but Jamal Johnson he easily could have turned and got that ball behind, would have had 50 yards of space.
Yeah. Cheney heads it square, cleared away by Gallagher to Velasquez. Velasquez has Brody, and Brody streaking deep into the right corner, challenging Fayewo, and Fayewo will get whistled for that shoulder charge.
Smart play there by Brody. He's very intelligent player, but he's not the biggest player, and he knows that Fayewo has him outsized massively, and he just turns his back to him at the right time, and Fayewo, trying to go shoulder to shoulder, just hits him right square between the 4 and the 5, and that's what you need to do. Great job by Brody, drawing a foul, killing more time.
Now, I think Johnson was irate with the referee on that one. Here's Velasquez into Hoffman. Hoffman trying to get a shot or cross off, snuffed away by the defense. Rainish restarts for Fresno. Verhoeven. Portillo wins that. And the ball squirts all the way back to Rainish in the Fresno end as we approach the final 20, 30 seconds of stoppage. Herrera. Hernandez. Hurd. And Hurd's pass to Velasquez just a little too strong.
Shouldn't be too much.
But that's it. We have a final. Real Monarchs 1, Fresno 0. Head coach Mark Briggs and the Real Monarchs moved to 7-1-1 on the season, Chad, capturing 10 points in this 4-game homestand to retain their place atop the overall USL table as well as that of the Western Conference. Michael Chang with the game winner.
Michael Chang with the game winner, and this might sound weird, but that was a very convincingly unconvincing win. Scoreline will tell you that it was close. If you actually were here at the game and watching it, you would have seen a much different picture. You would have seen complete possession domination by the Monarchs with a few half chances, but no real glorious chances from Fresno. They really never even worried Jacob Leaker. He almost did it to himself before they actually did it to him with when he came out to the box and, was saved by Kalen Ryden on that one play. But like I said, they showed a really good possession. The subs that came in did a great job. The depth of the squad was tested. 4-game homestand, 3 wins, 1 tie. Definitely easily could have been 4 wins, but they sit atop of the Western Conference standings.
Jacob Leaker, the rookie out of the University of Memphis, an undrafted player, signs a contract just before preseason. Gets a clean sheet in his first professional start. Wasn't really tested, had one extremely nervous moment there, but all in all, got the 3 points.
To have that nervy moment, though, and not be penalized for it, and like you said, to have a shutout as your very first professional game is something that obviously isn't always going to stay the same, but it's a great building block to start you off and to build on.
Next games coming up in the USL season here for Real Monarchs. 4 out of the next 6, actually, Chad, on the road coming out of this homestand. At Las Vegas on Saturday, 1 week from today. At Portland, 2 weeks from today. They'll return home for a midweek against Sacramento. The following Saturday, Rio Grande Valley. And then a month from now at Swope Park. And Mark Briggs has proven to have his team ready. Very, very good road form over the course of the last 13 months for this club.
Well, going from this year to last year, they've really, cemented themselves as a team that feels like they can win any single game. And Briggs has really made that kind of the mentality going forward. And that's a very hard thing to do. That's something that club teams have. That's something that Barcelona has, all the great teams in the world. And Monarchs are one of the great teams, if not the greatest team. in USL currently, you know, during the regular season, that is. Obviously, when the playoffs start, they were taken out by Sacramento. But to have the record that they had last year, the unbeatable record that they have still at home that's maintaining since the beginning of 2017, they really are the team to beat. They have to be on anybody's schedule, something that you circle where your best 11 are going against the Monarchs.
Speaking of the best 11, does this team, the Real Monarchs, the table-topping Real Monarchs, do they have a best 11? Because when I look at this roster that Mark Briggs has at his disposal, not counting some of the guys that are coming down from RSL, he might have 14, 15 everyday starters on an extremely deep club.
Well, they had 3 guys graduate, well, not graduate, but get promoted from Monarchs to the first team. Connor Sparrow, Nick Beazer, Taylor Pay, who, you know, Nick Beazer goes from being an Ironman and defensive mid to being a center back that has now started the last 3 games for RSL. And you got guys like Portillo, Sebastian Velasquez, all guys that people are wondering probably why they don't get first team opportunities. They don't get these call-ups. But, you know, it just goes to show that, like you said, with the players that swing down as well, yeah, it helps them out, but it can also hurt them as much as it helps them. It doesn't. Sometimes those guys don't come down with the right attitude, but Briggs does such a great job of making sure that they understand that, you know, if they're not going to come down and work, they're not going to play, because he has the players on the Monarchs that are currently rostered that can get the job done.
There's very little that this club did not see last year. We saw a long unbeaten streak for Briggs and company. We saw a 9-game win streak record, and then it all, you know, they won the regular season shield for the USL and then lose a shootout in the first round of the playoffs. So I think there's a sense of unfinished business around Briggs and company, but obviously it's a long season. 7-1-1 atop the table is very, very respectable. What do they need to do starting next week in Las Vegas to kind of keep that momentum going?
Well, this is the game that they didn't finish. This is the only win at home they didn't finish. They had 3 wins. They had 1 tie. That was against a 10-man Lights FC team for the 70 minutes of the game. It's going to be 11-11 at Cashman Field in Vegas. It's going to be a hot game. It's going to be, you know, I think Las Vegas FC are relishing the chance to get back at the Monarchs. Like I said, everybody circles this game on their calendar. So it's one of those things where I think that you know, dependent upon the weather and, you know, how everything else goes, they're going to get a little bit of rest finally, which will be nice. And they're going to put out their best 11. And then they have to go to, what was it after that?
Portland after that.
And that's always a tough one.
As a guy who scored 100-plus goals in MLS, what advice do you have for Chandler Hoffman as he tries to get over that milestone goal and go back? I mean, this is a guy that scored, 15, 16 goals for the Monarchs last year.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I wish I had 100-plus. It's like 60 or something like that, but I should have just left it at 100. But Chandler Hoffman, as soon as he gets over that hump, you know, that'll just be a big relief, that big stress off of him. And it's not anything that he has to add to himself, but I guarantee he is adding it to himself. Mine came very easily, thankfully, with a great ball against San Jose. And, you know, once that monkey's off your back, sometimes it can just open the floodgates. And we all know that Chandler Hoffman can score goals in bunches.
All right, thanks for joining us today here across KMYU, ESPN 700, ESPN Plus, et cetera, et cetera. We've really enjoyed presenting United Soccer League's action to you. Real Monarchs 1, Fresno 0. For Chad Barrett and Mike Chidsey, I'm Trey Fitzgerald saying good night.
This copyrighted telecast of United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.